I'm here today with Jeannie Lymath, who has been nominated for this year's Portsmouth Inspirational Awards in the category of health. Hi, Jeannie.
Hello.
So lovely to meet you. Tell me a little bit about the work you do.
Well, the main aspect of my work is reflexology and crystal healing. So I'm a little bit of a holistic alternate person. So
Okay.
I tend to be the person that people come to when they've tried lots of other things and they haven't quite worked, and then they are a little bit more desperate. So they come to me to explore something that they may not have originally thought would be part of their care plan, health plan, that type of thing. And what I do is I try to get people to relax, because in this world, people don't really know how to relax unless it's forced upon them.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's what reflexology and the crystal healing does. It makes them lie down, it makes them close their eyes. And then with the reflexology, I work on certain parts of their feet. And with the crystals, I use the crystals to kind of empower that energy, empower that treatment. Alongside that, I've been doing meditation, running monthly meditations online that started in COVID, and it's something that I've just continued through because I think it's really good to encourage people to just quieten their mind.
And that's so important in a world where information overload is just everywhere.
Absolutely.
So just for our listeners, I'm going to read one of the things that people said about you when you were nominated this year. Jeannie inspires women to care for themselves, to refill their cup. During the pandemic, she kindly offered reduced treatments for NHS key workers, so needed during this time. She inspires me to press pause and explore my own needs.
Oh, that's lovely.
Wow,
isn't it?
Jeannie, what an inspiration
Yeah,
you
that
are.
is lovely.
Do you have your own business? Talk me through how you were inspired to help key workers. How did that start?
Well, it is part of my business, and it is about key workers, seeing how hard that they are endlessly working. And they had so many barriers to get over. And yeah, it was hard to stay at home, and it was hard. There were so many things that we were worried about, but these people had to keep on going. It wasn't just NHS workers, it was delivery drivers, it was teachers, it was anything that kept the cogs moving.
Yes.
And we suddenly realised how important these people are. You know, because without those, everything would have stopped.
Absolutely.
And it was just a way of, instead of clapping on the street, it was just a way of me going, no, I really, really want to help you. And I'd love to be able to offer free treatments endlessly, but it's my business. So
Sure.
I still needed a mortgage to pay for. So reduced treatments, and the meditations are free to NHS workers, teachers, any of the, what I still call essential workers, because the pandemic might be shifting,
Yes.
but actually it's made me realise that they're essential all the time,
Yes.
and they need to be rewarded for that. Absolutely.
So is your business based in Portsmouth?
Yeah, it's based in Portsmouth. I've recently moved up to Copner. I was in Southsea, so yeah, it's based there. So I can go to people, or people come to me. It's very flexible, shall we say. Yes.
Lovely. And how long have you had this business for? How long have you been doing reflexology? And
well, actually, this year in September is my 10-year anniversary of becoming a qualified reflexologist.
Congratulations.
So that's really exciting, and I am thinking, oh, what do I do for that? Because that is something to celebrate. Changing my career quite massively. To do what I love.
And what were you doing before?
I was working for the NHS.
Wow!
Yeah,
so you know what it's like to be front line.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. So yeah, massive change, and it's a real celebration of being able to take that leap of faith and believing in yourself. And that's what I'm trying to get and encourage other people to start doing, is to really believe in themselves, and that actually they've got the power within to make those changes and to make their lives as wonderful as they would like it to be.
Yes.
You know, we often put lots of limiting thoughts on ourselves.
Yes.
And it's about unpicking that.
Yes.
So that we believe. I think it's all about faith.
Yeah, I'm a firm advocate for empowering people And I know that, including myself, sometimes we struggle with imposter syndrome, or I'm not good enough, I can't do it. And we need to be able to encourage each other. And I'm so pleased to know that you're someone who wants to sprinkle that little bit of light onto other people.
Oh, absolutely. It is absolutely heart-filled. I feel a life full of love. And personally, I try very hard to keep the fear away and to recognise when fear is starting to trickle its way into me and just get it away as quickly as I can. But it's very hard to recognise that, and that's what I teach people, that actually if you live your life with love and you spread love in whatever way you can, it makes the world a really brighter place for yourself and for others.
So just for our listeners, give me one tip if I feel fearful to go for that job, or I have a fear of changing career, or I don't want to live in this part of the city, I want to live somewhere else, or I'm inspired to open a pop-up business. How can I overcome that fear?
Well, there's some real logical ways that you can overcome those fears, and my logical way is writing the pro and cons list.
Yes, that does
You
work.
know, and actually, when you write it all down, there are very few cons, very few things that will happen. And actually, most of us have that support tribe around us that want us to succeed, that are like, go, 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 go. We've got much more people around us that are like that than going, no, you shouldn't bother. And you kind of need to talk to yourself as your best friend would talk to you. And we don't tend to do that. So logically, that's the way I would do it. Holistically, I'd always be grabbing that carnelian crystal of belief, of empowerment, and go, I can do this, and carrying it with me everywhere. In your bras, in your pockets. Yeah, that's what I'd be doing.
And do you sell the crystals?
No. I don't sell the crystals. I just use them, and people tend to always go away with crystals when they come to my treatment, because there tends to be part of me that goes, oh my God, they need this in their life. So I'm always going, just take this crystal with you, and what to do with it. And that's a lovely way to help them once the treatment has finished, that they know that I'm always there because I'm the person that gave them that crystal. So that connection is always going to be there, even if it's that one time that I've treated them.
Yes.
That kind of energy connection is always there, and it can be always recalled, which I think is kind of magical. So yeah, holistically, crystal, and logically, write the list down, the advantages and the disadvantages, and it will always, if it's something you really want to do,
Yes.
the advantages will always outweigh the disadvantages.
So to any of our listeners, make a list.
Make a list.
Make
yes,
a list. Just
definitely.
do it.
I believe that writing's a brilliant form of therapy, and it's free. Pen and paper. It's one of the best ways to get our ideas down, to untangle how we're feeling, dreams that we have, to kind of go, well, what does that mean? Experience that we've had and how that made us feel, or things that we've loved. Actually, writing it all down really is a great way of the cheapest therapy that's available. And
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't do that. And I encourage them. Pen and paper, get it out of your mind, move it from your mind into something physical. It's a great way of moving that energy in a positive way.
Yes. Yes, I agree. And I love how this person that's nominated you has said you encourage people to reset. And I think that is so critical. I don't know about anyone else, but certainly myself, whilst we're coming out of this pandemic, I find myself even more busier. Now, I don't think I'm any busier than how I was before COVID. Well, I am a little bit busier because I have a toddler. But I think where I did manage to relax, and we didn't have to get up and, commute. We managed to work within our home, via online, and now everything's opening up and there's this sudden rush. How do we reset? I need this. I need to know, how do I just stop?
Schedule it.
Yeah.
Because we're all absolutely crazy on scheduling, aren't we? And that is the best way to do it. Look at your week and schedule some time in for you.
Yes.
Now, I'm not talking about, a few years ago, a spa day would have been lovely for me now, but right now that's just not doable because of that busyness, that catch-up feeling that we've got. but actually taking for a walk, taking my dog for a walk, that's really nice. Scheduling in some time that I can just read a book.
Yeah.
Long bath, an uninterrupted bath with candles, you know, doesn't have to be something absolutely big. And I think that's really important to find the small things in life that we can achieve and recognise those, because actually those small things can happen every day, but we don't necessarily recognise that we've had that. We just go, oh God, we've had such a busy day. But if we break down our day and go, actually I met so-and-so and oh my God, I felt so good after I saw them, that hug was massively needed, that's something that's refilling your cup. And I think we kind of need to rewire our brain slightly, that actually we're not just slogging it. There are sometimes some beautiful moments. They weren't long enough, unfortunately, but to be grateful that we got 5 minutes, 10 minutes instead of a whole day. You know, I think we need to kind of rewire our brains that actually it's good to have those small things. I certainly set my alarm a little bit earlier than my kids. I can't do any earlier during winter. I just can't get up earlier. It's too dark. I can't do it. I do try. In the summer, I look forward to that because it is much easier. But I love just for 10 minutes, just lying in my bed still and really giving myself, okay, what are my priorities for today? And it could be finally send that email.
Yes.
And then what am I doing for me? So there is that one boring admin thing, and I always look for something nice that I'm going to do for myself.
Yes.
So it might be going and buying myself a cake.
Yes.
It might be, you know, having a nice read, or there's something that I'm interested in and just giving some time to myself to look into that for half an hour.
Yes.
It might be calling a friend.
Yeah.
You know, so it's about finding those small things in life and scheduling them in.
And being kind to yourself.
Absolutely, being kind to yourself.
It's one of my goals this year, be kind to myself. I remember a few years ago, I ran a women's group and I did a session on self-love. And I just talking to you, I remember the practical thing I told the ladies to do, which somehow I didn't apply myself.
And I said to them, people,
if you think of 24 hours in a day and think of that in a monetary sense, so £1 for each hour. So every day when you wake up, you start with a clean £24, 24 hours. And then you distribute that time. You'd maybe give £8 to work, another £6 or £8 to sleep. That leaves you what? You've got £16, and then you give your time to your kids. And I said to them, how much of that would you give yourself? Even if it's just 20p. Yeah? So if £1 is an hour, and I said, well, I haven't even given myself 20 minutes. Yeah? And it comes back to how you said, schedule that time in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And those small things can have a profound effect on your life.
Massively. And if you really commit to giving yourself that small amount of time every day, you'll feel yourself giving and reconnecting with yourself and giving yourself that self-love.
Yes.
You know, and it's a really easy magic to get hold of.
Yeah.
You know, it sprinkles that magic dust over your life.
Yeah.
It really does.
So tell me about your online, because you said that some of the stuff you did online, was that during the pandemic?
During the pandemic, I'm still doing a little bit of online stuff too. So I do my monthly meditations, which is just an hour. I don't even think it's an hour. It's a time that people of like-mindedness can kind of catch up, connect, moan, discharge whatever they need to discharge, and then I just lead them in a lovely guided meditation that is generally led by my crystals, something that's happening in the time, crystals that I'm using, and yeah, for 25 minutes they just, well, some of them just fall asleep, but others, you know, just have a beautiful adventure. And I only do it once a month. In the pandemic I was doing it once a week, but I just couldn't keep up with that pressure of it. And it's nice to just still be connected to those people that in COVID times, I felt like I was further afield. It wasn't just locally. There was people I could connect to from much further away that would never be possible. And it's nice to still keep that reconnection and tap into that, because I know they'll always come every month and I can see their faces and they can see me, and it's lovely. I think at the moment it is all about keeping those beautiful connections going, and encouraging more of those beautiful connections where you get something back, you know, that You know, when you meet someone, you think, oh, you've made me feel so good.
Yeah.
Have more of
feel
those
that
moments.
about you, actually.
I feel that about you. I'm like, oh, I could talk to you for hours.
I was just thinking, no wonder you were nominated.
Oh, thank you.
Have you always lived in Portsmouth?
Yeah, well, pretty much. I had a bit of a break. I
Or
went to London.
born
I
in
was born in Portsmouth. Yeah, I'm very
good.
lucky to have come from this city. I couldn't wait to leave it.
Yeah.
And then when I left, I pined for it. So
wow.
back I came. Yeah, I kind of did what I wanted to do and then was like, actually, you always think the grass is greener, but sometimes it's, and I love the diversity of this city.
Oh, fantastic.
I really love the diversity of this city. I'd like more diversity in this city. I want
Yeah.
more, you know, I want a mini London, mini Brighton here,
I
definitely.
think we are getting there. And what advice would you give your younger self?
Oh my God. My younger self, stop doing what everyone else expects you to do.
I love it.
That is what because I very much followed
love
that
that.
path of, this is the expectation, I should go and do that.
I started listening to this podcast this year, The Diary of a CEO.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Is it
Okay,
good?
so for our listeners, listen to this podcast
Okay.
and then also alongside that, listen to The Diary of a CEO. But he was Stephen Bartlett.
Okay.
He's the podcaster. He's one of the dragons now on Dragon's Den. Anyway, he was interviewing this guy. I can't remember his name. And this guy was talking about his younger self. And he said he really struggled. He was dyslexic and he struggled in class. He was always below average.
It's really tough.
And he said he wished at that time someone said to him, okay, maths and English is not your strength. Video games are. And he said he loved video games. And at that time, they were like, you're not going to become anything doing video games. But move 15 years later, and everything is online. Having that skill is so important. And he said he just wishes someone said to him, it's okay. It's okay. Let's see what you're good at. Because I believe we're all born
Yes.
with a particular skill.
Yes.
And what is mine is not necessarily yours.
Absolutely.
And what's good for you is not necessarily good for me. And it's okay. We can't all be academics.
Thank God we're not.
We can't all be creatives. Ask me to cut someone's hair, I would I would mess it up. But ask me to stand in front of 1,000 people, I can wing it. I can do it.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
so what you've said is so deep and true.
It definitely is. To find your own path, to carve that out.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm really passionate that we tell our children too.
Yes.
That we're not just telling our adults, but telling our children
Yes.
that, you know what, we will support you in whatever avenue
Exactly.
we get you to, because success has always been measured by money
Yes.
and our material things. And don't get me
Yes.
wrong, we all like
Yeah.
a little bit of that, don't we? But you know, that happiness, that content feeling that you wake up
Yes.
in the morning and you don't think, oh my God, I have to book a holiday. You know, that actually your life
Yes.
resembles something that is beautiful, that you're not
Absolutely.
escaping from, you know?
Yeah.
So yes, that's what I'm all for. Get our young children not worrying that they're dyslexic and they're not good at maths and English, because that's a really hard environment to
It's
grow up in
really
and
hard.
thrive in
Yeah.
when you're always not as good as everyone else.
Yeah, and what, you know, sometimes like a social construct, what the world tells you, you know, when actually you may be gifted.
And something very
And-
different.
I just wanted to say to yourself and our listeners, everyone has a skill and a talent.
Absolutely, I absolutely believe in
And
that.
every single skill and talent is valid
And important.
and important.
Yeah, absolutely, I wholeheartedly agree.
It's been so lovely talking to you. We could have gone on and
I
on.
told you we would.
We need to do a part 2.
Yes, definitely.
I
I'd
can
love to.
see why you were nominated. Do you want to say a little bit about how people could maybe contact you if they want
Yeah,
to
if they
rest,
want to,
reset,
if they-
reflexology?
Absolutely. I've got my website, so that's www.soulcare, SOLE, as in soul of the feet, .org, or Instagram, I'm Soulcare Healing. Those are the best ways to get in touch with me. DM me, all my details are on there that they can get in touch with me, and it's definitely, when they sign up with me, it's definitely the beginning of a journey and a friendship, for sure.
Wow,
Definitely.
fantastic. You are amazing and
Thank you so
inspiring.
much. As are you. Thank you so